Can we finally admit that Angela's skit was a flop? Can we finally admit that Angela's skit was a flop? Can we finally admit that we haven't seen any evidence that Phaedra did this? Okay, so let me just give y'all a little background information on the situation and let me cook real quick, okay? Kelly's event. There was a situation. She was at Williams-Sonoma doing a cook-off with her and Charles Oakley. They was making chicken and waffles and whatnot. I heard it was really, really good. Shout out to Kelly Farrell. A random man by the name of Marcus comes up to Angela at the event and says, "Hey girl, Charles is cheating on you." And, Angela is taken aback by the situation. Now, Angela then proceeds to do, before we get to the rest of the story, I think it's interesting that according to Marcus's sidekick or his employee down at the restaurant, because Marcus said that he saw Charles at his restaurant with another woman and it was giving date night. Okay. The guy who works at the restaurant, who is also kind of like in the situation, basically shared a screenshot from Lamont, which is the PR person for Kelly. Uncle Lamont, the one y'all saw on the TV screen. Yeah, so he was confirmed by Kelly's people. I just want to let y'all know that. Okay. So anyways, he tells Angela that, yeah, he's at the restaurant with another woman. He's cheating on you. Okay. So then Angela and Drew go on about their business and they do this investigation. They have a luncheon with him and his employee. And basically, they did PI work on them. They found out their names. They did PI work on them and basically found out this dirt about him being on the sex offender registry list and whatnot, allegedly. And I guess was using that to basically scare him, intimidate him, blackmail him, allegedly. And she was like, "You need to tell me who put you up to this because I know Charles wasn't at your restaurant. He was out of town or, he wasn't with no woman. He's not cheating. I know you're lying. You're a bad liar, whatever. Who put you up to this?" Okay. And was using the information that she got from the private investigator, allegedly, to, for lack of better words, blackmail him into, giving her a name of a cast member who put him up to it. So we already know that Marcus, and this is my perspective, this is my opinion. We know that Marcus is messy. We know that he's just doing this for a moment, which is why he went up to her right at the Williams-Sonoma talking about your husband is cheating on you, because who does that? That's none of your business. Okay, right? So we know he's already messy. So I believe he took that opportunity to just continue the messiness and be like, you know what? Let me flip sides and just tell this lady that it's Phaedra because she's threatening me. She's blackmailing me. She's doing all of these things. Allegedly. So let me just come up with an Phaedra. Okay. Fast forward to, that's when Angela and Drew set the whole situation up at the charity event. And then we saw how that scene play out. So my whole thing is we have not seen evidence till this day. And I know Angela is going from blog to blog to blog. Shout out to Angela. Angela, we love you. You've had a great season, but this is your first L of the season. She's going to blog to blog to blog, giving out text messages and DMs and all of these things. And yeah, you're proving that Marcus is a wackadoodle and that he's not a reliable source, but you have yet to prove that Phaedra put him up to this. Where is the communication between Phaedra and Marcus? That's what we want to see. And I don't think she has it because we haven't seen it yet. Drop the receipts unless she has it at the reunion. Because at this particular point in time, it's giving Phaedra was framed. Phaedra is an easy target because we know Phaedra's history. And Angela keeps saying, oh, well, they're both from Athens and he's Facebook friends with Phaedra's auntie and he used to fuck Phaedra's uncle back in the day. And, they all from Athens and it's a small town and they all know each other. And his second cousin went to high school with Marcus and yada. Okay, I don't really care how many connections there are. Is that cause for suspicion? Yes. Is that evidence that Phaedra put him up to the shenanigans? No. And so to me, you could have took your suspicions to Phaedra and asked her, okay, sis, did you do this? But instead, you decided to bring Marcus to your husband's charity event. Or I guess it was your event in the name of your husband's charity. Your husband was about to fight the raising up his blood pressure, because who brings this man, if he's slandering you or defaming you or, is making up lies about infidelity in your marriage, why would you want him around your husband or you or any of your friends or anything that you got going on? Okay, that's weird. But you and Drew set up this whole situation where y'all have him standing in the wings at this charity event, and then you say action, you bring Marcus in and you bring his friend over there, and then you squabbling with your husband because you didn't really put your husband up on game on what your plan was, which was to expose Phaedra. And then you outright just accuse Phaedra of trying to set up this whole scheme with this man, and yet we have no evidence. There still is no evidence. Okay, yeah, Marcus said, well, Phaedra, he was basically implying, okay, Phaedra put me up to it. But this is the same man that you said lied on your marriage. The man said that Charles was at the restaurant with another woman. Then backtracked and said, well, Phaedra put me up to this. Then backtracked and said, well, Angela came up with the whole Phaedra narrative and shook us down, and she had a goon come to the restaurant and threaten us to change our story. She wanted us to say that he wasn't with another woman, but he was with his daughters. Allegedly. This is all alleged. So Marcus has changed the story. He keeps going back and forth. It's clear that he's a clout chaser, that he's a wackadoodle. So him looking at Phaedra and saying, Phaedra, well, is not a reliable source. Them having ties to Athens, cause for suspicion, but that's not evidence that Phaedra did this. Then you sitting up there talking about, Phaedra, I liked you. You're the godmother. You're the godfather of Atlanta. Okay, so why didn't you ask Phaedra if she did it before you decided to come up with this whole elaborate scheme? I don't know who put Marcus up to this. I think Marcus put himself up to this. I think he's just messy. But you haven't convinced me that Phaedra did it based off of the things that I've seen on the internet and onto the show. But it's clear that she did not convince any of her cast members either, because we see them in the confessional talking about, well, I think Britt did it. Okay, I think Shamia talking about, I think Britt did it. Kelly talking about, I think Britt did it. Portia talking about, I think Angela did it. Nobody on the cast believes Phaedra did it. The man is switching up his story. You got goons and private investigators allegedly out here, just doing all types of stuff, talking about, oh, I have people out there who love me. Angela, this was a mess. This was a mess. Instead of that debacle at the charity event, I wish she just would have had a lunch with Phaedra and would have been like, Phaedra, these are the things that I found out. This is the information. Did you do this? And then let Phaedra say whatever she was going to say. But to me, the entire plan, having him in the wings, and then Charles not even being in on the plan, and then Phaedra looking dumbfounded like, okay, what the hell is going on? And then it was spiraling out of control. All of a sudden, Shamia was talking about Britt is a whore. You got Portia in the corner crying over her cousin Londi, rest in peace. You got Kelly just sitting there like being loud like she always is, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? That was a mess. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about everything in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day. Bye.